Hello, everyone. As a lot of you know, I'm getting ready to start up a podcast with a friend of mine named Andy Wellman. And this is a story I want to do a podcast about with Andy. I figured I'd go ahead and do something about it right now. And this is from the Kentucky Files. And now, Andy Wellman and I are going to do railroad podcasts. So this is UFO and railroad related. Um, do I believe in UFOs? I have an open mind. Let's leave it at that. From the Kentucky Files, UFO collided with a moving CSX train. Late one night in January 2002, a true mystery unfolded. A CSX locomotive started to mysteriously lose electrical power, and strange lights were seen up ahead on the tracks. The train was carrying coal to Paintsville, Kentucky, when it received damage from an oval metallic object that emanated a spotlight. When the train finally stopped, the crew walked the tracks to inspect the train, only to find the object or objects with strange lights had vanished. Electrical power soon returned. However, it turned out the train's rear engine cab suffered damage, and the two coal hoppers looked like they had been partially crushed. Next, they reported the incident to the dispatcher and decided the train seems drivable, so they revved back up and crippled into an old Paintsville rail yard. I'm not sure how factual this account is, but there is an original report from a CSX engineer. Okay, this happened. No, let's see. Well, like I said, happened in 2002. I found out about it in 2010, and this guy reposted this story on the Kentucky Files on January 18, 2015. It shows a photo. What hit the train? With a question mark. UFO collides a moving CX train. It says photo of the cab and busted window. Now here's one problem. There's only a number 3 on the number board inside of the cab. I looked through the roster of CSX. No locomotive is numbered with a single digit. None. And when I put the photo itself into a Google search, it is from a Norfolk and Southern repair facility that does work for CSX and other railroads. And the locomotive had hit a tanker truck that was across the railroad crossing. So, red flag right there. And I think it's a red flag from the guy who owns this website. Because, like I said, no railroad, no Class A railroad has, and I don't even think the short line railroads have locomotives with a single digit number on the number boards in the side of the locomotive. It's BS. This photo's been photoshopped. I'm going to read a little bit more of this. At exactly 2:47 a.m. on January 14, 2002, while working a coal train en route from Russellville, Kentucky to Shibia, having a hard time reading it, people, because my eyes are bad. Shibia, Kentucky, our trailing unit and its first 2 cars were severely damaged as we were struck an unknown object floating or hovering objects. I know it was 2:47 because my watch froze and to this day shows that time. So otherwise he's saying his watch froze at that time and to this day it don't work. Maybe If it's not a wind-up watch, maybe he can possibly change the battery and work. Along with my watch, the entire electrical system on both locomotives went haywire. Approaching a bend near milepost 42, an area referred to as Wild Kingdom. It's kind of interesting. I have quite a few people who work for CSX that I know personally, and down in that area, do not know where the Wild Kingdom is. I mean, they know where the line is, but there's no area referred to as the Wild Kingdom. For the many different types of animals spotted there, my conductor and I saw lights. This don't make no sense. The Wild Kingdom. Okay. Yeah, it does. He's calling it the Wild Kingdom for the many different types of animals spotted there. I'm thinking this is something he calls the Wild Kingdom, because no one in that area that works that line knows it. He calls that. So it sounds like this is what the conductor and his engineer calls that area. My conductor and I saw, or excuse me, this engineer and his conductor. My conductor and I saw lights coming from around the way. This ordinarily means another train is coming and will pass on the other track. The outlay of the area is this: the river, track 1, track 2, and straight up the mountainside, carved out of the lane of the tracks. I think what he meant was they had to carve out an area of the mountain and they put the tracks in. You know, we can't all be scholars when we type and read. God knows I'm not one. I killed our lights. That's not to blind oncoming crews, which they do that. They don't turn the lights off altogether. They dim them. They're like a car. You can turn them on bright with the blind you, and they can dim them down. You're not really supposed to turn them off all the way. As we rounded the corner, our onboard computer began to flash in and out. I mean, this happens today for no reason, especially since they have PTC. Speed recorder went nuts. Both locomotives died, alarm bells began to ring, and that's when we saw the objects, apparently scanning the river for something. At least 3 other objects had several searchlights trained. Okay, I'm gonna have to start this again. And this isn't me. This apparently somebody screwed this up. Apparently scanning a river for something. At least 3 objects had several searchlights trained there. First object hovered about 10 to 12 feet above the tracks. It was metallic silver color with multiple colored lights near the bottom and in the middle. There were no windows or openings of any kind that we could see. It was 18 to 20 feet in length and probably 10 feet high. With both engines dead, as we roared the corner, we made a little noise, and the first object did not respond in time. Okay, now, if I remember rightly, a lot of these new locomotives, you're hitting a button. And if he's having electrical problems, I don't think they're going to be able to make no noise with the horn and bell. I may be wrong. I got a couple guys I need to ask about that and make sure. I estimated that we hit the object at 30 miles per hour with 1,600 trailing tons behind us. It clipped the top of our lead unit and skipped back, slicing a chunk out of the trailing unit in the first 2 coal cars. The other objects vanished. Our emergency brakes had initiated due to the loss of power, and we stopped approximately 1.5 miles 2 miles after impact. Our power restored after we were stopped, and we noticed our dispatcher notified our dispatcher located in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, yeah, this guy's very knowledgeable about this, so okay, you know, they are in Jacksonville. He talks like an engineer. But anyway, notified the dispatcher what happened. We were told to inspect the cars and see if they'd hold the rail and try. They said they'd hold the rail and try to limp into milepost CMG 60, which I need to get a hold of my buddy down there and see where that's at. Which used to be in Paintsville, but you know, milepost CMG 60 could be, you know, Paintsville Yard, which is no longer in full operation. We checked everything out, and in the cab, the rear locomotive was demolished and smoking. You know, he talks like an engineer. I give him that. I've talked to enough railroad guys. Terminology is correct. He talks like a guy that's worked on the railroad. But rail fans can talk that way too. I'm a rail fan. I don't work for a railroad, but I can talk the talk. Anytime there's a collision, anytime that you have a collision with something, a rock, a car, a motorcycle, that train don't move. They send out a yard master, they send police, they send their own railroad police, because they have like little black boxes on them, like what you would an airplane. So in case somebody got hurt, you got to pull that black box for, you know, future court dates, lawsuits. The NTSB wants to see all that. So if you got a locomotive that's ripped open and smoking after something hit it, and 2 cars smashed, they're not going to move that train. That train's parked. And that crew is automatically done for the day. They got to stay there with the train for you know, the investigation. But they're done. That's the way it works. Red flag number 2. Now, I'm not going to read the whole story to you, but it ends with they got to the yard and supposedly the men in black showed up. They were taken into a room and interrogated by some strange, evil government people. And when they came out, miraculously, the 2 coal cars were being unloaded and scrapped, and the engine was being repaired. Now, like I said, I looked at the photo, and I wish I could share it for the software if I can. And it shows the locomotive when the window busted out, cab all beat up, burnt. But like I said, there's only a number 3 on the cab. There's only a number 3 on the number board that they light up. No locomotive, no railroad has a single digit number in any of their locomotives. That'd either be 003, 1823, I don't care. You're going to have 4 digits or 3 digits for a number on that locomotive. And when I did a Google search on this photo, it was a locomotive that hit a tanker truck on a railroad crossing. It was in a Norfolk and Southern facility where they do repairs on other railroads locomotives for them too. And like I said, just reading this, the guy talks like a railroad engineer, but I can talk like an engineer too, and I can talk like a conductor too. I got enough railroad friends, I know the terminology. I can talk the talk. Then when they say the dispatcher told him to move the train. No dispatcher. No dispatcher is ever going to tell them to move a train after it just had a collision with something. Especially if the locomotive is got a chunk out of it and there's smoke coming out of it and two cars are partially crushed. That train is parked. That crew is taken out of service. You're going to have CSX road police heading that way, local police heading that way, National Transportation Safety Board heading that way. Whether that dispatcher or whether that guy gets on and tells dispatcher, "Oh, I hit a UFO" or not, especially if he gets on there and says, "I hit a UFO," they're definitely going to make him park the train because they're going to be wondering what his mental faculties are. Basically, a bunch of people wanted me to discuss this, and me and Andy Wellman are going to do a podcast about it. But I'm calling bullshit. I have an open mind, but I'm also, I know how things work on the road. I'm not a complete expert, but I know, when I see a photoshopped picture, and I know how to check these photos out. And I know when somebody is being a poser, actually live action role player, acting like he's something, because any real thing can do this. Get on there and talk the talk. Especially somebody like me who listens to the railroad on a police scanner on a daily basis, and all these rail fans do that. So to my friends out there who want me to discuss this, I think you're kind of wanting me to say, well, yeah, I think a UFO hit a train down in Kentucky. I'm not going to say that. Can't. I think it's a cool story. I kind of like a lot of people think that, yeah, something like that may have happened, considering no one got hurt, but it's interesting, but it didn't happen. Just for the simple fact that this isn't the only person that's posted this, and I've read quite a few, and it kind of changes on each, it's not consistent. And in fact, I know people that actually work in that area for CSX, and they say, yeah, they've heard about the story, but, some of these locations, don't exist. Especially the Wild Kingdom name. That's just, if it's known as that, it's only known as that by that engineer and that conductor. No one else has ever heard it called that. And then when I tell them about how they supposedly limped the train into Paintsville Yard, and they say no, they back me up. They say no, that train would be parked, and that's it. People be out there investigating. So no, I'm not gonna confirm it to my young railroad fans that want me to say either way. No, I'm not gonna say this happened. It's not real. I mean, we gotta have some common sense here, guys. This is not real. This did not happen. Okay, basically, Andy's got to buy a webcam and a mic, and this will probably be the first thing that him and I discuss in our podcast. I really want to focus on his modeling skills and some of the things he's doing with Arduino. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I want to get this out of the way and be done and over with it, because I got a lot of people requesting it. And we'll see what Andy has to say about it. I sent this to him. He's going to read it. He lives down there in Tennessee. He's got a better feel for the guys down there than I do, but I think he's going to kind of agree with me that it's made up. So, that is from the Kentucky Files. UFO collides a moving CSX coal train. Everybody, you have a good night. See you later. Smoking Monkey is out.